Good morning, good day. This is your girl, Dr. Tay, here with another morning message. So, in case you didn't know, episode number 9 of Things My Boss Never Told Me is currently available, so please make sure you check it out and let me know what you think. I shared some very interesting stories in this last episode, so I'm definitely interested to hear everyone's feedback around it. So, for this morning, I wanted to talk about the concept of blind spots. And this was something that I learned about pretty early on in my doctoral program, and I learned about it from this book called Theory U, which I feel like I've talked about in previous messages or some of my posts on social media, and it just had a significant impact on my just time in graduate school as well as beyond, right? And the concept of blind spots was essentially defined as the place from which we operate. And what they were essentially suggesting is that our blind spots are the things that drive our attention, intention, and actions, right? And sometimes these are things that we are conscious of, and sometimes they're things that we are not conscious of. And I would say more often than not, it's the thing that we are sort of doing unconsciously. And so let's say an example of a blind spot that I didn't realize I had until much later was what was driving me to work hard. So all I knew is that I was the overachiever. Like, I did all of the things that I could to show that I was helpful, to demonstrate that I was a team player, to demonstrate to my supervisors, to my colleagues, that I was available or that I was willing to do the work, even though no one had ever asked me or even though there was never a suggestion that I wasn't doing the work or that I wasn't doing my part. Yet I still felt this need to constantly have to prove myself. And for me, I just saw it as me working hard, but it wasn't until later on that I realized my blind spot was that I felt this need to prove myself, right? And so another example would be, like, let's say for people who are trying to save money, and I mean like the extreme version of that, right? So let's say the people who are maybe trying to save up for a particular project, or let's say if they're trying to buy a home or something, like, that's not who I'm talking about. I'm talking about the people who are saving for saving's sake. They're just essentially hoarding all of their resources, all of their money, and not doing anything with it, not sharing it with anyone. And for those individuals, what their blind spot may be is that they have this scarcity mindset. Like, there's a concern that they will lose those resources or lose that money, and therefore their actions and their intentions are focused on hoarding that money, on holding on to that money. And these are things that, again, we may not realize that we're doing consciously, but it's something that we should be made aware of, because at the end of the day, we want to make sure our intentions, our attention, and our actions are in alignment with what it is that we actually want to do, with whatever it is that we're actually trying to create. And so if we continue to feed into our blind spots, that takes away from whatever it is that we do want. And so exploring these blind spots and getting a sense for where they're coming from is significant for our overall growth and development. And so in my case, I realized that, I was burning myself out for nothing. It's like I was doing all of these things despite the fact that my supervisor said that I was doing really well, and despite the fact that my colleagues never complained about me, not doing the work. Yet I still was, working extra long hours and taking on all these extra projects that I really didn't need to do because they weren't necessarily pertinent to my work. And so I'm sharing all of this to invite you to do the same, right? I'm inviting you to look at your own blind spots. Are there certain behaviors that you have that when people ask you about it, you're like, oh, I'm not really sure why I do that? Or even you may ask yourself, like, I don't know why I did it that way, or why I'm even doing this. Like, if you don't know why, if you don't know what's driving you, it's likely a blind spot that needs to be explored so that you don't continue to do that behavior for that reason, right? So I hope that this message was helpful, and I hope that you have a great day. All right? See you later. Hey, thank you so much for listening to my video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe below. Also, I have some other recommended videos for you to check out over here. All right? Thanks a lot and have a great day.